Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on air, and we're live on social media all over the world through Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. So I welcome all of you all over the world, and thanks for joining in. And today we're going to talk about this major news that we've been following, and the world is in a state of shock, as well as Americans are angry, mad. Many are frustrated, and many are protesting. And different polls are showing numbers upward of 70 to 80% who are against these wars, and especially the war against Iran. Only the warmongers and those who have this religious tendency of different biblical prophecies, they are selling it very hard to the Americans. And those who basically have been brainwashed into this thinking that Iran was an imminent threat. These are the different reports and the analysis from different news sources, even within the mainstream media. However, we are not getting the right information in terms of what is actually happening at the ground level from a ground reality standpoint. Security updates for Americans was put out on March 2nd. There are still thousands of Americans still stuck in the Middle East, from Bahrain all the way to Yemen, and all these countries that you can see on the screen. State Department urges U.S. citizens to leave more than a dozen Middle Eastern countries. And then the current leader, although they have already selected the son of Imam Khamenei, as I was planning to leave my home and coming toward the studios, the Mushtaba Khamenei, who's the son of Khamenei, he has been selected as their new supreme leader. But Ari Larijani, who is the de facto leader until a few hours ago, is saying it very clearly that they are prepared, and they are ready for even the ground troops. And we'll see how that would shape up in the next coming weeks and months. So you can see his statement as well on the different news outlets. 3 U.S. F-15s involved in friendly fire incident in Kuwait. The pilots were saved, but we have received reports that another American has lost his life, and this will be confirmed with the mainstream media as well. The identification of that U.S. soldier has not been released yet, or at least I have not seen it. CBS News has reported U.S. death toll in Iran rises to 6, and then one more, as I have just read the news before before the program. And then Iran wars targets widen into civilian infrastructure. Saudi Arabia now reports 2 deaths, one Indian national, one Bangladeshi national, and there are dozens injured as well. U.S. service members killed in Iranian drone strike. In terms of those whose identities have been released by Pentagon, our thoughts and prayers are with all those who are getting impacted, not only with injuries but also losing their lives. So our thoughts and prayers are with all the parties, even they could be considered from an American standpoint the enemies, because they are also losing lives, especially the civilians. And then the U.S. service members, plus these people who are basically getting killed in this war. Strikes launch across Middle East, as the New York Times reported, and the UAE has now attacked a desalination plant in Iran, and one was also attacked in Bahrain. We don't know who attacked the desalination plant in Bahrain. Some reports are suggesting it's Iran. U.S. weighs sending special forces to seize Iran's nuclear stockpile, as Axios has reported. And State Department bypasses Congress to send Israel more than 20,000 bombs. That was reported at the New York Times. The sale had been under informal review in Congress, but the State Department declared an emergency because of the war in Iran. Iran names Khamenei's son new supreme leader as war escalates. This just happened just a couple of hours ago, as confirmed by Associated Press, CNN, and others. And Trump says people the U.S. had in mind to lead Iran are dead. So obviously it doesn't matter anymore. And he previously also said that Raza Pahlavi, the exiled son of Iran's toppled Shah, is not someone that his administration has considered in depth to take over. But obviously they are not going to listen to the president of the United States of America, because why should they? And that's where they are ready to fight, and they are already fighting. So we are in a state of war, and Americans all over the world need to be very careful and should protect themselves, because many embassies and U.S. consulates all over the world have been targeted. And this time around, all the enemies of the United States of America may even take advantage of this situation, as it has been reported that the Russians are providing intel in terms of ground troops movements, or not just the ground troops movement, but those who are stationed in different U.S. embassies and consulates and different U.S. air bases in the Middle East. So they are providing intel, as reported by all these mainstream media outlets. At least they are reporting that, but they're not reporting the casualties and the infliction and the attacks in Tel Aviv and different parts of Israel. There is a complete ban and ceasefire. I would say a complete censure, and they are censoring all the reports, even the social media reports or videos that people are uploading. It has been reported that they are sentencing people to 5 years in prison. So that needs to be fact checked as well, because it has now been reported. Even CNN and many others, they cannot even show an incoming missile or projectiles, as they were reporting. Aaron Burnett and many others have already told on live TV that they cannot even show it, because the Israeli government has told them not to show anything. So that's another thing. There's a lot of, I would say, cover up that is happening, but Israel has been hit hard as well, because many reports are still being leaked to social media, and I've personally seen those videos as well, and many of them are not AI doctored or generated by that. So we have to be very careful in terms of what we are sharing, what we're not sharing. But when war happens, even Iran is not a match to the might of the US military. But at the same time, they are trying to drag this war on, because the oil prices have already reached $100 barrel since July of 2022. Trump tells UK farmers thanks, but no thanks on last minute Iran help. War is already won. The United States, he put it on social media. The United Kingdom, once a great ally, maybe the greatest of them all, is finally giving serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer. We don't need them any longer, but we will remember, we don't need people that join wars after we have already won! Exclamation mark. And that's President Donald J. Trump put this on social media, on Truth Social. The protests are happening all over the major US cities, from New York to LA. Obviously will not be covered in the mainstream media, because 80% of Americans are against this war. There is this poll where majority oppose ground troops in Iran. You can see these numbers, and MAGA and non-MAGA base. Currently, since this debate was happening within MAGA, and they were completely opposing this war with Iran. However, as the war has now begun, they are falling in line. And that's another problem, because is it really wrong to say that it's an illegal war? That's many are asking. And many are saying, no, we have to support it. And then there's a third party that basically are saying, is we have seen this playbook before. So Democrats 51%, Independents 48% are the most likely to believe this war will only worsen the day-to-day lives of the Iranian people. And that is true. And the majority here is definitely on the right side of history. By a slim margin, Americans are more likely to believe this military campaign in Iran will make Israel safer, 30%, than their own country, 26%. So this is another area. A portion of MAGA base draws the line of the inclusion of ground troops in this conflict. Opposition rises from 2% for air strikes to 17%. So even for the air strikes. When considering American soldiers with their boots down in Iran, among non-MAGA Republicans, this idea creates significant division, with 2 in 5 showing support and the same number opposition, 38%. Among Democrats and Independents, opinion tilts fully the other way, with massive majorities opposed. So these poll numbers speak for themselves. The recent conflicts appear to have little effect on Trump's approval rating among the MAGA base, 93% of whom approve of his performance. Because remember, evangelical Christians and those who believe in some biblical prophecies, they think that this war needs to happen. And I leave that debate for some other day, but that's the bottom line. Here, 72% approve of Trump's performance, that's within the MAGA base, and nearly all Democrats, 92%, and most independents, 69%, offer negative reviews. So the new polling from the nonprofit Angus Reid Institute finds really half Americans, 47%, oppose the airstrikes on Iran, with 1 in 3 in support, and notably 1 in 5 unsure, 21%. Those who identify as a part of the MAGA base are near unanimous in their support, 85%, while non-MAGA Republicans are more hesitant but still supportive at a slightly majority level, 58%. Support among Democrats, 11%, only 11%, independents, 11% is there. Now, remember, all these wars in the Middle East were started by the Republican presidents. George W. Bush, war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq with weapons of mass destruction. Some call it weapons of mass deception because they never found them. And that was the moment where even the previous Secretary of State and even the General Colin Powell said this when he was alive, that it was one of his lowest point in his life. And he said that, and he basically lost a lot of public support there because he was sent to sell this war to the Americans. Most expect to last for more than a month. So previously it started with 4 to 5 weeks. Now I'm even hearing 6 weeks, and even until June. There are some reports about that too. So this war is not stopping anytime soon, unfortunately. Although President Trump, he's the commander in chief, he can stop it at any moment and protect America and protect America's interest. And America's interest is not in this war because Iran was not an imminent threat based on all the different reports that at least I have seen. If someone has seen it, please share it with me, because the administration is also not saying that very clearly. And now they are spinning and sharing a different kind of story and political rhetoric when it comes to this war. Overall, Americans oppose 47%, as I mentioned earlier, and Trump's approval rating, as mentioned earlier, is still within 35%, which is even lower than his first term. So what is happening? Why is that happening? We'll cover that in a minute, and then some other numbers here on the screen, as you can see, with regards to MAGA versus non-MAGA base. Now, the CNN has also reported the House has rejected a war powers resolution on Thursday that would have required the Trump administration to seek congressional approval before continuing military action in Iran. Now, you can see this number as well, because there were 4 defections from Democrats, but from Republicans, there were 2 defections. 212 voted against, 212 voted yes, because there has to be the approval from the Congress. But Republicans in total, as you can see the numbers, 210, they are basically said no. And there were 2 Republicans who were voting and voted with Democrats in this 212 number. And Representative Henry Keller from Texas, Representative Jared Golden from Maine, Representative Greg Landman from Ohio, and Representative Juan Vargas from California. These 4 Democrats basically voted with the Republicans and voted no to have the congressional approval for this war, to continue this military action in Iran. And then oil prices since July of 2022, this feels like as if we're in the Biden era, because that's how high the oil gas price was in July 2022. And now it's over $100 a barrel. And oil price surges hit stock prices as well, as reported in the Wall Street Journal. Now, with regards to the veterans, there is this big group, even on Facebook and on social media, Veterans for Peace. Thanks to Covert Action magazine for publishing the VFP statement and Iran war talking points. Veterans on this are in in a very big number, in majority, are against this war. And then they also posted this, just a friendly stroll crossing a bridge is all where Channel 4 News, as they reported, war in Europe, Russia invades Ukraine, and then they pointed out Israel troops cross into Lebanon amid fears of widened war. So the hypocrisy that the Veterans for Peace are covering here. And Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran is hitting the radars that underpin U.S. missile defenses. And many are saying that they are at risk because they have this cheap, effective, and battle tested by Russia. Iran leans on Shahed drones to penetrate U.S. defenses, and some are saying it's about $20,000 and upward. And they are using $4 million Patriot missiles and THAAD systems to basically hit one of them, and they are coming in such a big number that how many you're going to hit with those hundreds that are coming in a batch. So that is also what the military analysts are reporting. And then when it was asked by NBC News in NBC News exclusive, the Abbas Araghchi, his name, Iranian foreign minister, he said that no, we are waiting for them. When he was asked that, are you ready for these ground troops, even from the Kurds and other Iranian forces? So that has not happened yet, and remains to be seen what happens the next coming weeks and months. Being allies of the United States puts us in serious danger. That's Spain's MEP, Member of Parliament, Irene Montero, declares it is urgent for Spain to leave NATO. Quote, being part of that military alliance headed by Donald Trump of the United States is endangering us, making us a military target, unquote. So that's basically what many of traditional and long-time U.S. allies are now debating and saying it very openly. And then U.S. commanders want to make war with Iran as, quote, bloody, unquote, as possible to bring about biblical end times. This was reported by this site, and this is where we have a lot of people are talking about this whole situation, that why bring religion into this. But unfortunately, that's where we are. Death toll in Iran surpasses 1,000. Some are saying even over 1,000. And Pakistan is investigating urgently needed after killing during Iran protests, and thousands in Iran attend burial of children killed in bombing of school. They're saying 168. Some reports are saying over 180. President Trump was asked that no, it was not US, it was Iran. So that's another issue. It was my opinion that they were going to attack first. That's basically what President Trump said. And UN Geneva has reported deadly bombing of Iran primary schools, grave violation of humanitarians law, UNESCO, and they said that they have some video as well. And then this war continues. Iran wars is entering new phase, threatens retaliation energy infrastructure, and then Pakistani chief defense chief and army chief and field marshal, Trump's favorite, met with the defense minister of Saudi Arabia, and U.S. citizen detained for 3 years. There's also news in terms of domestic news. I want to cover that, and you can read more about this. And at the same time, the ruling that declares him as a citizen, so he was in jail, literally detained for 3 years. And you can read that story on NBC News. How a DHS shooting of a third U.S. citizen went unnoticed for months. This is where Ray Martinez, 23-year-old, after he allegedly failed to comply with a law enforcement officer, he was shot, and he is dead. And this is where his mom and his lawyers are asking for a video, and it happened in the state of Texas. So that's this news as well. And then Noam, the DHS secretary, is out. Trump picks Mullen as DHS secretary, and after weeks and months of this debate on how this operation is taking place, Noam was asked by Trump not to be secretary anymore. He fired her, and now it's Homeland Security Secretary, Mr. Mullen. So with that, I'm going to sign off. But before I sign off, I'd like to quickly share our advertisers, their information. Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com. Their number is 737-854-4000, 737-854-4000. You can go online, AITinsurance.com. And you can also call them. They are in business for decades, and Their number is 713-785-4000 for all insurance needs, for commercial insurance, for homeowners insurance, www.aitinsurance.com. Group Saudi Palace, you can schedule a virtual tour, video tour. They have a lot of shipment that has arrived. I was there and I saw a lot of boxes. They were opening those up. Their number is on the screen, 832. You can call them for a virtual tour, 832 2670065. roopsaudi.com. That's the web address. And shahnaitexas.com. That's SHAHNAI Texas.com. So you can visit shahnaitexas.com for catering needs. Contact Mr. Shahid Ali, and their number is 739531388 for all your catering needs and daily menu and party trays. And for donations and charities in the holy month of Ramadan, contact www.hrd.org. www.hhrd.org and /Ramadan. You can also visit the website and you'll get all the information. With that, I'm going to sign off with social media and continue with the legacy media. Thank you for joining, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Zishan on Air. Thank you.